Hi there, this is the voice of reason. It's been a while since I've made a video, and this came up in a conversation today, and I figured it was worth making a video on. It's something that's been talked a lot about lately, and it's marijuana legalization. Now, marijuana legalization is something that people have been talking about and users have been crying for years. It's something that is seen as unrealistic. But why? Why is it that legalizing marijuana is so unrealistic? Because it's a drug? Really? Why is it that marijuana, a substance that has never once killed anyone, illegal? While cigarettes and alcohol, which kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people per year, are completely legal. The answer is simple: money. The tobacco and alcohol industries spend millions of dollars per year on lobbyists, making sure that congressmen and women protect their industry. Marijuana doesn't have that major industry, especially not in the United States, because the government has outlawed it and has done everything they can to stop its use and production in the U.S., but has failed miserably every single year. People don't remember that there was at one time a very strong hemp industry in the US. It's an incredibly good product because every part of the plant can be used for some material or product. Now, hemp is different than marijuana. It's a close cousin, but it's of the same family. But here's just a few things that hemp can be used for: rope, clothing, plastics that are even stronger than steel, wood, yes, wood material can be made from it, and even oil. So why is it that it isn't being used more? Why don't we see massive fields of hemp growing? Think about it. We could grow oil for our cars. And unlike corn, hemp grows 6 times in a season. It grows fast. There's a reason it's called weed. But like I said, why isn't it that we see fields of hemp? It's because the government has placed so much regulation, fees, so much red tape, that growing it would be virtually unprofitable. It doesn't help that the public opinion on marijuana is bad, because the government has spent billions of dollars trying to demonize it as well as other drugs. It began in the 1930s with Reefer Madness, a movie claiming that marijuana use would begin with laughter, which most people know it does, but that it would lead to hallucinations and later, quote from the movie, incurable insanity. Now, obviously this movie was made in the 1930s, and even though it claims it was based off of actual research of marijuana at the time, clearly the research was conducted poorly, as no research of marijuana in the past 20 years has shown any evidence of hallucination or insanity. And in fact, it hasn't shown distinctive ties to any kind of brain alteration or loss of brain cells. One study that was used as credible research for years that claimed that marijuana kills brain cells was conducted by placing a gas mask on a monkey's face and pumping the equivalent of 10 Colombian-sized joints into the mask every 10 minutes. Surprise! The monkey died, and the research, quote, confirmed that the monkey had lost brain cells and its death was the direct result of marijuana use. Wow. Any person with common sense can tell you that the monkey died not because of marijuana use, but because of asphyxiation. It couldn't breathe. DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education, was a program that was instituted by the government to help educate kids about the dangers of marijuana, as well as other drugs. But after only 5 years of the program, drug use among kids in the grades of 6th grade through 12th grade clearly went up. DARE was a failure. Why did the rate go up? Well, in 6th grade, I had a DARE officer come into my school and talk to my class. He talked about all these drugs, marijuana, heroin, cocaine, and just about every other drug. The thing was that before that day, I had no idea what it was or what it did. And now that I did, I wanted to know more. It sounded great. Think about it from the mind of a 6th grader, a kid. This stuff makes you laugh a lot? Really? Huh. And they wonder why it failed. The federal government spent $15 billion on the drug war in 2010 alone. Since the Nixon administration and the beginning of the war on drugs, the federal government has spent over $2 trillion fighting a war that they have not won and never will. When you look at the economics of a drug war, every time the drug war wins, they actually lose. When the drug cartels are allowed to move their drugs into the country, they come at a mediocre price, but it is still profitable and somewhat high because of the risk involved in dealing it and because it can't be bought easily. You can't go to the store and get it. This is why hard drugs such as cocaine and heroin are more expensive than drugs like marijuana or shrooms that can be purchased and especially transported easily. Now, when one of these cartels' trucks gets seized by the police, do you think they care? Of course not. The police just did them a favor. Now, because that shipment is off the street, supply goes down, and when supply goes down, price goes up. Look at the supply and demand chart. Look at S1, representing the first supply, and D1, representing the first demand. They are stable together and in a state known as equilibrium. Now look at what happens to the price on the left when supply goes down according to the axes of the chart on the bottom, quantity. Price goes up when supply goes down. The cartels are profiting off of our war on drugs. Because every time their supply goes down, because we seize one of their trucks and yay, we stop the drugs, they get to charge more for their product and they fill their pockets. So if we were to legalize it, supply would go up, right? And therefore price would go down to the point where these drug cartels wouldn't be making any money. Why buy from the drug dealer in the alley when you can go to the gas station and get it? Marijuana being legalized isn't as unrealistic as people think, because people don't really realize how popular it already is. Whenever I get into an argument with people who are against its legalization, they usually open with something along the lines of, well, if they legalize it, then people are going to start doing it like crazy. Everyone will be doing it. That statement is like saying that everybody that sees a Lexus ad is going to go out and buy a Lexus. Marijuana being legalized would probably lead to a slight incline in its use for some time. Yes, that's understandable. But over time, it will become less of an issue. Look at it like this. France and Germany both have very low drinking ages, and they have had this for years. In comparison to the United States, they have very little issues with teenage drinking because they have made it a non-issue. It is very common in France for a glass of wine to be served with a nice dinner, even to children. Germany has had a low drinking age, and they have lower teenage drinking rates and lower drunk driving rates. Part of the reason for the low drunk driving rates is because of Germany's low tolerance, and they have very strict laws where you can lose your license for life for getting a DWI or being a repeat offender. Marijuana and its close cousin hemp should be welcomed into society, not shunned from it. They have so many uses that I couldn't cover all of it in one video. But the point is that the government is spending trillions of dollars to fight a war they cannot win, to stop something that is completely harmless in comparison to alcohol or tobacco. If the government truly wants to cut its spending, start with the drug war and kill two birds with one stone. Lower spending and harm or completely stop the operations of the drug cartels in Mexico. One day will come where marijuana is legalized, and I don't think that day is very far away at all. Thank you for watching. God bless the United States, and God bless the United States Constitution.